in as much as we came from different cultures, I also see that we have to associate and get along as one people. So my poetry is also about one Guyana with all its problems. So here's a poem that I wrote that is entitled One Guyana.
Great.
Guyana is my El Dorado, my dish, not India or Africa, not China or Portugal, England or North America, land of cane fields, rice fields, and farms, fertilized by our ancestors' blood, sweat, and tears, land of mighty rivers, fresh lakes, and beautiful waterfalls, natural beauty everywhere, land of my childhood friends, Cambridge and Campbell, Can and Kissoon, the Silva and Fu. I borrowed marbles into this land, marble holes, made the sign of the cross on sticky wickets, slept in rice paddocks, porous straws under a million Guyana stars after the lantern of the night was gone. I paddle my own canoe along swift creeks and canals, feel for patwa in potta mud water, mudhead that I am. I ran in open savanna, catch canary and bleed barata. I am glued to this land, forever glued to this land.
That was Poet Laureate Peter Jailall, who became the third recipient of the Pakaraima Literary Award recently in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. He is joining eminent poets such as Ian MacDonald, who received the award last year. Uncle Peter, as he is fondly called among the Guyanese community, was given high praises for his long-standing contributions in literature and the arts as a poet and educator for over 50 years by President of the Pakaraima Literary Award, Habib Ali, also a renowned poet, scholar, and educator. I'm sure it was a great honor for you to receive such an award.
I am very honored because it's a Guyanese award and it's recognizing my work. Poets like to be recognized of their work, and people kind of like their poems and their poetry. And it's what you create and you help other people to recognize who they are, what their culture is, and who they are as persons. And poetry is powerful enough to do that. Last year, my friend received the award. His name is Ian MacDonald. And this year, they decided to give it to me.
Jailall is the holder of a bachelor's in education and master's in English language from the University of Toronto. With a passion for teaching, poetry, and storytelling, he made it his life's work both in Guyana and in Canada. Jailall is a rare gem, having taught in all 10 regions of Guyana and is still conducting literacy workshops in Toronto. He is originally from Lejealousy on the west coast of Demerara and grew up at Dutch Fort on the east coast of Demerara. Jailall got married to a fellow school teacher in 1965 before emigrating to Canada in the 1970s. He has 2 sons, Dave and Nari. He is also the recipient of established literary awards from the Mississauga Arts Council and the Guyana Cultural Association of New York. Some of his literary writings includes This Healing Place, Jottings, Stop, Stop, Don't Be a Bully, and Sacrifice, a book of poems on the Indian arrival in Guyana. You would have written extensively in a lot of your poems about indentureship. In actual fact, the Coolie people would have come to Guyana, and I saw you also talked about that and so forth. And I know over the years that has picked up a more derogatory term and strayed away from the original origin of the meaning of the word. In the first instance, the first question was really your inspiration to write about indentureship, and if we could touch a bit on the word coolie and how we could demystify that again, especially in your writings.
Well, I use the word coolie carefully because I use it in poetic terms. A coolie is not a slave, but he's a worker. who worked very hard for his family or her family, and to work for his or her country. And we early were called, the British name was coolies, because we were hard working people. And for me, it's not derogatory. Some people it is, but for me, we build nations, we build families, we build communities, we work in the cane fields, and we work in the rice fields. And it's the label and an honor to be called a worker and a coolie worker. I am a coolie man. I wrote a poem about that I man, coolie man, band for walk. And we walk till walk frighten we. So it's a whole pride in our ability to labor and never surrender.
And he goes on to honor his ancestors in his poetry, describing life on the plantation as experienced by his grandfather, his father's father, his Aja.
My Aja, handsome, strong, and proud, was an estate bunkin cutting coolie, banging juice for the white sahib from sunrise to sunset. The hot morning sun glittered on his aluminum saucepan, filled with cold dal, rice, and bhaji, which he sanied with his hard cane field fingers, pinching a red hot miras pepper, as hot as the morning sun. My Aja staggered home at sunset, his sharp cutlass wrapped tightly around the black corn bag, slung over his tired back. Handsome, strong, and proud, he would return the next day to cut more cane for the white sahib and for the empire on which the sun never set.
Wow, it's so beautiful. Your poems have such deep and significant messages. And you come alive reading them as well. And writers do have inspiration and motivation. So where does Jailall draw his inspiration from? And how important is it for writers to maintain their own voice?
In your writings, whose voice resonates the most in your writings?
Well, first of all, I must say my own voice, because I have a voice of my own. I'm unique in terms of a poet. Each poet is different, but I also get some inspiration from our own poets in Guyana, like Martin Carter, right? And like our Caribbean poets, like Camu Brafitt, right? These are two poets that I like, right? And in the outside world, I like Yeats and Shakespeare and Auden. So other poets inspire me, and I use some of their voice in my writing. But I use my own Creole voice too, because I use our own language to make the poem strong. Because nothing is as powerful as your own voice that comes out of your own experience. And I'm not ashamed of my own dialect, because I write like that. You notice my poems, some are written in dialect, and I mix the English, the standard English, and the Creolese, both languages. So in a sense, I mash up the language.
And how important do you think this is for writers of this age to maintain that form of writing?
It's very, very important, because it's very sad when you lose your voice and you try to use other people's voices and only their language. But it's not to throw, I'm not saying to throw away the English, but to use the English, to keep it in your back pocket so you can pull it out when it's ready. And it depends on the audience you're speaking to. You're speaking with somebody that speaks English, you give them the English in their own way. And then when you meet your own country people, you speak Creolese. Say, man, how you are going, how you do now, how things. Speak your own language, you know. And it's not bad to do that, and it's not degrading.
Jailall has also used his poetry to take a strong stance against social injustices and issues plaguing our society, such as domestic violence.
This one is called Parvati's Here. Like a busy bee, Parvati flits around the kitchen table, belaying roti. Her long black bouncy hair silhouettes through the window pane, and no man has the right to beat her or pick up a sharp pair of scissors, dash her to the ground, and cut off her trellis, or chase her down the street, grab her flowing trellises, wrap it tight around his muscular arm, swinging her light body round and round until she see Ning Ning on the ground, paralyzing her with fear, or even put her to sit on a red ant's nest and beat her with a black sage whip. No! Like Rapunzel, Parvati must be free to let her hair down, like honeycomb.
And this is a story that you witnessed, you said?
Yes, this happened in Guyana. This man grabbed a scissors, and it happened in the Enterprise here, and cut the lady's hair, beautiful hair like yours, cut it off. And then in Barbados, this man beat his wife with a black sage bush and put her on an ant's nest to sit down and beat her again. I wrote a poem about that. But that's wrong. No. Well, sometimes poems get you angry too, Jennifer. You have to bleed on paper and get it down.
And even discrimination and bullying based on race, gender, and even being differently abled. So tell us about your favorite poem. Which one is your absolute favorite?
Well, recently I wrote one that's called Don't Be a Bully. And it's for children all over the world, because children are innocent and we have to treat them equally as persons. We cannot discriminate against children and against persons who have deficiencies. And so that's what this poem is about. And it's very much popular in Canada and in America too. And it's called Stop, Don't Be a Bully. It goes like this. Stop, don't call me Eskimo. I'm First Nations, living far in the deep white snow. Stop, don't call me black. I can't turn back. Stop, don't call me white. That's not right. Stop, don't call me brown. I've always been around. Stop, I may be just off the plane, but I do have a name. Stop, don't call me gay. I hear what you say. Stop, don't call me fat. I don't like that. Stop, don't call me a dummy. That's not funny. What if someone were to say mean things to you today? Stop. Don't make fun of what I wear. It's not nice to stand and stare. Stop. Don't call me poor. Sometimes less is more. Stop. Don't make fun of my walk and my talk. I'm capable, just differently able. Stop, don't bully me. I have feelings too, just like you. So this book here about children, of all children of the world, colors, deformity, that we treat human beings like how we like to be treated. It's a simple children's book.
Jailall has received praises from many authors, journalists, and poets for his work. Here is how one journalist described his writings. Good, so hear what he says. Peter's poetry brings together the old world of his ancestors and heritage and the new world to which he has emigrated. In each country, he is comfortable in his body and in his language. Peter is realistically aware and honors the yin and yang of both his homes. How do you feel about that?
I feel very honored about that because I am, as I said before, the world has become a village now. Even with the pandemic, we are one in the world. This question of national or of vulgar nationalism, of being an American or being an English or being a Dutch or being an African or an Indian, doesn't apply anymore because we see what the pandemic has done. It made all of us into human beings and equal human beings. And we are very, very vulnerable. The pandemic has made us that. So we have to see the world as a stage, as a place where all of us must share it. Because with all our wealth and our scientific advancement and all our pride, we're nothing because we are all people belonging to one family.
Because of the advances in technology, Jailall is concerned that the passion for reading is lost and is encouraging parents as well as students to read, to explore, and to learn from other people's experiences and life lessons.
And reading has become very scarce because of the screen. We have to be very careful and put books in front and the stories because all our lives are stories. And as children read and parents tell them stories, they will learn their language and they must also be allowed to write at home. Put aside the screen and write on paper, do art on paper, because the arts are so important in the whole building of character and the soul.
Pakaraima Writers was founded 15 years ago by Janet Nadu to create a space for Guyanese and Caribbean writers to showcase their work and provide guidance to getting published. Several events are hosted to ensure the consciousness of writers and poets in the Canadian, Guyanese, and Caribbean community are alive and well. For the Guyanese Diaspora News, I'm Jennifer Jabbar.